gone. There will be baseball, and the Sox and the Twins both wanted to play this one. There's no way in the world they wanted to play a doubleheader, and so they're going to get this game in today. Jose Quintana is going to go for his 4th win against Nick Turley, who got hammered in his last start. And the Sox are ready to go. Jose Abreu certainly is ready to go. Jose Quintana would just as soon put one in the win column and then head to Chicago for the longest homestand of the year to date. So let's take a look at how Ricky Renteria is going to line up our Sox for the game this afternoon. It's going to be Tim Anderson in the leadoff spot. Melky Cabrera hitting 2nd. Melky Cabrera hitting safely in 8 of his last 9, with Jose Abreu, Avisail Garcia, Todd Frazier, Matt Davidson, the designated hitter, with Yomer Sanchez, Kevin Smith, and Adam Engel playing center field and hitting 9th. The defense, and how they're going to line up behind Nick Turley. Robbie Grossman, Byron Buxton, and Max Kepler in the outfield, with Eduardo Escobar, Jorge Polanco, their starting shortstop for the first time this series. Brian Dozier and Joe Mauer at first base. Behind the plate, Chris Jimenez gets a nod, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Nick Turley. He's got a pretty decent curveball and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but he's had problems getting it over the plate. As you can see, 4 walks in 8 2/3, but 7 strikeouts, along with those 17 hits. The umpires for the game this afternoon: the crew chief Jerry Meals has the plate, Chris Conroy at first base, Ben May at 2nd, and Ed Hickox is at 3rd. So Paul Molitor, in his 3rd year of managing these Twins, had a good year his first year, finished in last place in the division last year, but he's got a very exciting offensive ball club looking for some pitching this year, and Nick Turley is the guy he's designated to start here today. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, and finally we're ready for baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, and you guys have waited a long time for this. Here's Ken Harrelson.
All right, Tony, thank you very much. And yeah, it's been a while. Great job today on the fill, Steve. You and
lovely Dan Hayes.
Oh yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was very good too. As there's first pitch, and before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As Anderson hitting at 256, 6 homers, 19 driven in. Well, that's something you don't see all the time. Yeah,
looks like he hurt himself.
Yeah, he has.
He popped something in his arm, or no, it looks like the Achilles tendon. Yikes.
Well,
hopefully he's going to be okay. That's not a good sign, because he threw the ball and it went about 45 feet.
He is going on a DL. That's something you cannot take. If it is indeed the Achilles, that's something you cannot take a chance with.
No, that's true. 2nd pitch of the afternoon after a long wait.
Well, it must not be the Achilles.
Oh, he caught, his spikes caught on his right shoe.
Yeah.
Take a look. The front spike caught right there, turning the ankle, and he's going to take some pitches. So he might have caught a break.
Yes, he did. You better believe it. Anything to do with the Achilles, you cannot take a chance with.
Well, we're just pleased to be here for a 4-hour and 450 minute delay, the longest in Minnesota Twins history.
Well, that's a good sign there. So 2-0 the count to Anderson.
You just have to make Turley throw strikes, because that's something he has been able to do. He was 10 years in the minor leagues. He was pitching an independent ball. He's got a very good arm, but not a lot of command.
Well, that one to 93. Sox come in hitting at 262 as a team, while the Twins, well, they're hitting at 255. Outfield straight up, spread out, spaced about equidistant, as that's going foul. And here, a beautiful target field, 339 down the left field line, 328 down the right field line, and 365 in right center, 377 in left center, 411 in the deepest part, just left of center. Back to the middle and into center field. So a good way to start.
Turley got a fastball right down the middle, and Tim took it right back up the middle.
So here is Cabrera hitting at .281, 7 homers and 40 driven in. Twins, as we mentioned almost 5 hours ago, have taken the first 2 games. Won the first 9-7, and yesterday we gave them a couple of gift runs in the 3rd inning. They beat us 4-2. Pretty good lead. Big lead now, a little bigger. Evidently, Tim thinks he's got a good read on him. Cabrera fakes the bunt, fakes the ball, and the count 2-0. There's a strike.
Tim has to get himself a lead where he's comfortable, and not a big lead where he's going back to first base when Turley delivers the ball. Just come out in an area where you don't expect to throw, don't anticipate one, but don't come back to first base as the ball's on the way.
That's up high, and it's 3-1. Well, as a first baseman, when you're playing, a lot of times, every time you hear that first base coach tell a guy to get a good lead, especially if you use an open pocket or closed pocket, every time he told him to get a good lead, you know he wasn't probably going.
Well, also, he hasn't seen the move of Turley, so he's trying to feel his way. But
we saw the first 2, and he looked like it was a very easy move to read. Of course, we're up here, and he's down there looking at a different angle. .3-1, and it's full. But you're so right. For guys to get that huge lead, and the only thing on their mind is not getting picked off. Yeah, that's a bad lead.
Then they go back to the bag, and this is a great time for Turley to throw to first base, anticipating that Tim is going to be going.
He's got a decent lead over there. Mauer handles it, makes the throw, and there's safe at second. So everybody's safe.
There was some confusion as to who would cover the bag because both Polanco and Dozier got to first base. Mauer didn't know exactly who to throw it to, and it cost him what should have been a double play. He's got the angle, and again, Dozier comes across. Now it looks like his foot hit the bag. They're going to take another look at it. He is safe at first. Good play by Mauer.
Well, from that angle, we couldn't tell, but they are going to look at it. Either way, it's a break because it was a certain double play.
Taylor made 3, either 3-4-3 or 3-6-3. But the Twins couldn't decide who was going to cover, and both Polanco and Dozier were in the vicinity of the bag.
Yeah, that is not good communication. But the ruling is safe, and they have to have a definitive reason to change it.
Dozier was in front of Polanco. He couldn't take the gamble that Polanco was back there to make the play. So take a look at the right leg of Dozier. He catches it, and Ben May didn't think the right leg scraped across the top of the bag, but he's out. It looked to me like that right foot did hit the bag, and it did. So he's going to be forced out at second base. It's going to go 3-4, but no double play.
So instead of a real big break, we just catch a break. And here is Abreu hitting at .298, 12 homers and 45 driven in. Abreu. Had 4 hits in the first game. And was 0 for 4 yesterday. Oh, yeah. That is out of here. You can put it on the board. Yes. Just a bullet. He bow and arrowed that one out of here. Mercy.
13th home run. He's driven in 47. And it became evident early to the 3 Sox hitters that Turley is not getting anything over the plate but a fastball. And Jose obliterates this baseball. Ford home run replay right down the middle. And Jose just crushes it. You were talking about hitting with short arms. He appeared to do it there.
He did. That's one reason he's been swinging the bat so well. And you can just watch him in batting practice. And the way you can tell in batting is watch his finish. Not to swing, just watch where the bat finishes. As strong, especially as strong as he is. And here's Avi. Avi at .341, 11 homers and 51 knocked in, and there's a rocket into left field. And he's going to easily come in with a stand-up double.
The offense a triple away from the cycle, and they've only had 4 hitters.
Yeah, it takes some guys just can't do it though. Some guys just cannot hit with short arms because all their life they've been taught extension, 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 and extension is one of the worst words you can put in the hitter's mind. The more you extend, the slower the bat gets.
Then you have a hard time hitting inside pitches.
You
can't hit them.
You can't do it. Twins had a hitter that was awesome to watch, especially if you're looking for a guy to hit with short arms. And his number was 3.
Harmon Killebrew?
Yes. And he could hit him 500 feet with those short arms.
There's the number 3 right next to Rod Carew. Terrific hitter, very powerful, and a wonderful man.
He was one of those guys you could tie him, but you couldn't beat him. Tied with a 2-1 count, 1 out. Avi at second. And it's 3-1, of course, with that home run by Abreu, the Alex Nelius family, another beautiful donation to White Sox charities in loving memory of Ursula.
Twins go on a 10-game road trip right after this game with no off days.
Count goes full.
That becomes important because the last thing Paul Molitor wants to do is going 3 in Cleveland, 4 in Boston, and 3 in red-hot Kansas City. He doesn't want to go to the bullpen early, and Turley's got to eat up some outs.
That ball hit high, deep, way back. You can put it on the board. Yes. 2-run blast, and it is 4-0.
Long time to wait for this one to start, but the fireworks have started early in the game. Todd hits his 12th. Drives in, runs 34 and 35. Ford home run replay. Sends Neil Allen to the mound on a towering home run into the bullpen. Problem with Turley, when you can only get a fastball over the plate, these guys are squeezing the sawdust out of the bat to go up and hit.
Well, unless it's 100 plus or that has a lot of movement, then you can do it if you can spot it. But you know, you and I have talked about this before, and it's not talked about hardly at all because it doesn't sound good. But the way the game is played today and the culture of the game with the bullpen, with the starters, with the innings pitched, with the number of pitches, managers today have to know when to eat a game. And that's just part of the culture today. One of the first guys to learn that quite a while ago, as a matter of fact, really, because he could see the change. We talked about it. We talked about it on the golf course. We talked about it at dinner. It was Lou Piniella. And we were talking about how you just today you got in today's market, you got to eat a game.
Well, you can't decimate your bullpen, and the Twins only are carrying 12 pitchers. So the problem with that is with your 5 starters, you got 7 guys out of your bullpen. Most teams in this day and age are carrying 13 pitchers. You've got 8 men coming out of your bullpen.
And Matt takes ball 1. Two and 1. Three and 1. Matt hitting at 255, 16 homers, 37 knocked in.
That got a piece of Jimenez and hit Jerry Meals a little bit harder. Got Jerry Meals under the mask and went off the mask of Jimenez.
And there's a shot base hit. That was a get me over breaking ball. So as the beat goes on, let's check out our picks to click. Vans went with Kevin. Cruz going with Todd, 2-run homer. Steve's got Avi. And David Novak and all the great folks at Poogie Hyundai and I, we got Adam Engel. So here's Yolmer. Yeah, they got left-hander up down in the pin. Doing a little soft tossing. Of course, with this Minnesota offense, they can quick strike you in a hurry.
Buddy Boscher's loosening up. Twins have a lot of thunder in that lineup.
Yes, they do. They are a dangerous hitting team.
Turley not necessarily trying to pick Davidson off or worried about him running. It's a signal from Jimenez to go to first base to allow Boschers to get loose in the bullpen.
Yolmer hitting at 282 with 3 homers and 20 driven home. There's a breaking ball strike. Yolmer's going, why me?
Picks him to drop the first hook over the plate.
Outfield well around to the right. A lot of room between that left fielder and that line. And can't get him.
Gilmer hustling down the line to beat the double play. And a call by Chris Conroy. See, Yolmer hits the front part of the bag. He hustles, hits the front part of the bag, gets you there maybe a half step quicker, and he got the call. They want to take a look at it again in the dugout.
So here's Kevin. Kevin at 247 with a homer. And 9 knocked in.
Pitch number 34 on the way, and very difficult inning for Nick Turley.
And there's a shot. That's going to be a base hit. So 2 on 2 out, and that'll bring up Adam Engel.
Kevin getting his opportunity, hits a high fastball, dumps it into center field. Kevin started the opening game of this series, had a base hit. And Paul Mahler coming out, and that is it.
Well, this is a
Nick
rock and a
Turley.
hard place for Paulie because of the fact you can't let a guy stand out there and get hurt, so to speak, you know. So it's one of those things, as you told me before the game started. You were right. And we'll be back.
Buddy Boshers. He comes on and he's done a great job out of the bullpen. On for the 10th time, his ERA at 193. Total 14 innings of work. He's only walked 3 while fanning 10. And he inherits a couple of base runners. And the Sox have batted around with Adam Engel getting his first at bat in the first inning.
Adam hitting at 259. Keep it going. Don't let up.
Somebody.
4-6-0 if you're just tuning in for us here in the top of the first. Also, if you're just joining us, 4-hour and 50-minute rain delay, which is the longest in Minnesota Twins history.
A bright sunny day. Very nice.
That's foul back.
Bushers came over as a free agent last year. Pretty decent year for them. Appeared in 37 games, had a 4.25 ERA and a 2-0 record. Last year, bullpen for the Twins was not particularly good. They had the highest bullpen ERA in the American League. But Bushers threw pretty well.
Well, if you get the highest in the league, you're probably going to finish last.
That's it.
So Yalmer just walks into third.
Fourth stolen base, and he noticed that Bushers wasn't paying any attention to him out at second, so a heads-up piece of base running puts runners at the corners.
And there's a base hit. Attaboy, Adam. Then it's 5-0.
First run batted in the career of Adam Engel. Dumps it into right field in front of Kepler. So the stolen base comes in handy. Gets another run that tacked on to Turley's ledger.
And here's a man who started it off with a solid single to center. That ball hit high and deep into center field. Stretch! Stretch! Just in front of the fence, hauls it in. But a big crooked number goes up on that board, and here's a couple of reasons why.
Brian Dozier leading it off, and it's Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Robbie Grossman, Eduardo Escobar, who's been tearing it up, with Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco, Chris Jimenez, and Byron Buxton rounding it out, playing center field and hitting ninth. The defense, and on they'll line up behind Jose Quintana. It's Melky, Adam, and Abasail in the outfield. With Todd Frazier, Tim Anderson, Yolmer Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Jose Quintana, who got 11 runs last time out. He's got 5 early in this one, looking for his 4th win in this, his 15th start. His ERA a touch over 5 and 6 and 8. Lifetime against these Twins with an ERA of 4 1/4.
So here's Dozier. Brian hitting at 250, 12 long ones and 32 driven in. First pitch strike. Big gap out there in right center. Count evens at 1. Foul back, and that's going to be a souvenir.
Even though Dozier has 4 home runs for his career against Jose Quintana, he's handled him pretty well, hitting just .224. And he's faced him a great deal.
Well, there's some funny numbers on Quintana this year. One of them just jumps out at you. His opponents are only hitting .128 against Quintana on the first pitch of their at-bats, and that's ranks first among 106 qualified starting pitchers in Major League Baseball.
Well, you would think with that number especially that he would be looking at 8 and 3 instead of 3 and 8.
Sure, that number alone will tell you that, but it's not. That's why numbers in baseball can be very misleading. That's in the right center field. That should be a can of corn. Yeah, well, if you take the Major League average, they're hitting .128 against Jose. Major League average is .352.
Some unbelievable numbers. That certainly is one of them. Last time out against Toronto, Jose's lineup got him 4, 3, and 1 run in the first 3 innings. 8 runs in 3 innings.
Mauer takes first pitch strike. Well, the next thing that jumps at you numbers wise, this is from Inside Edge. A young man named Ryan from Inside Edge supplied these numbers for us. Quintana has allowed a slugging percentage of just .205. .205 on the first pitch at bats this year, and that's again first of 106 qualified starting pitchers, where the Major League average is .612. Yeah, if you're an opposing general manager and you're reading some of these numbers here, you got to say, hey, let's get this guy.
Well, you have to look at the overall numbers for 4 years heading into this season. He's in the top 10 in just about every pitching category there is, from WAR on down.
Breaking ball. One of the bad numbers, though, that come up is something that he's thrown his changeup for a strike just 37% of the time. That's 157th out of 159 qualified starting pitchers.
He was using it a bit more in Toronto last time in pretty much the same situation with trying not to walk anybody because of a big early lead.
The veteran Mauer with a 2-2 count. Mauer hitting at .276, just 4 homers and 29 driven in. And once again, the 2-2. And that'll bring him Sano.
Howard was hitting over 300 against Jose Lifetime coming in. He got a high fastball, took it right back up the middle. So their first hit of the day.
Here's a very strong man. Miguel Sano. First pitch strike. Sano has homered in both games. One of them, one hopped the back wall over that center field fence.
Ricky decided that he had seen enough of the long ball, walked them a couple times intentionally last night.
Well, the way that game morphed into and evolved, so to speak, Ricky handled his pitching staff extremely well, because it looked like it was just going to be. He rolled the dice a couple times and he won. We gave them 2 runs and they beat us 4-2. So we played really poor defense. In fact, that was one of the worst defensive efforts we've had in a long time.
And a pretty good job out of the bullpen by Infante and Inoa both to keep that game within reason. And the ball club was in the game the entire way, but unlike the night before where they squandered scoring opportunities, didn't have that many scoring opportunities last night.
That's foul. Yeah, first game we stranded 14 guys and lost by 2 runs.
Last night stranded 3 guys. And that's it. You're not getting any hits. You're not going to strand too many if you don't get any walks. We only got 1. That was Hansen leading off the game.
He gone. The old equalizer. 2 down.
Well, Sano has never hit Quintana at all. He was hitting 158 against him, just 3 for 19 coming into this at bat, and the slow curveball down and out of the zone gets him. Good spot for it.
That'll bring up Robbie Grossman, switch hitting left fielder in this game. One of the things that surprised me, about this series, there are a few scouts here, but I expected to see a lot more. This is going to be a busy trading.
There's no doubt about it. And now,
very busy.
Now as we move past the draft, and every team putting a whole lot of emphasis on the draft, they still had scouts out looking for everybody, but you've got a real hot race in the American League East, a very strong race here in the Central. The West, not so much, with Houston pulling away. You got a lot of teams looking for postseason play in contention, meaning they're going to go out and try to make some deals. I think we're going to see many more scouts as we see that calendar turn from June to July, which is going to be in next week or so.
Well, the East and the Central are going to be highly contested as far as trading goes. Houston's, for the most part, taking care of the West.
And the National League West and the National League Central. 2 divisions hotly contested. The East, Washington leading by 9.5 coming into play today, so they're probably going to control that division. There was a good straight change, and when you have to make a 3-1 pitch, which is an extreme fastball hitting count, You take something off it, you're going to have that hitter well out in front, and Grossman was, as you look at Eduardo Escobar waiting for his turn.
Full count, 2 out. Howard just a short lead. He takes off. And the throw, yes, nice play by Sanchez. He continues to cover a ton of ground out there at second base.
And we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Palo Cooperative Telephone in Palo, Iowa. Welcome.
Cabrera, Abreu, and Ivy. Cabrera hit into a 3-4 fielder's choice. Hit the ball extremely hard. And that turned out to be a huge play in that first inning. Where it should have been a double play.
We've talked about it a lot. You're given extra outs.
That's it.
There were 2 plays should have been double plays. Neither was, and it turned into 5 runs.
Can't do that in the major leagues. Well, you look at last night's game. We gave them, in that third inning, we gave them 5 outs. One and two the count. One out. And a reminder, Sox fans, join us as our Sox take on the Seattle Mariners on Saturday, July 15th at 6:10. Now, the first 20,000 fans will receive a White Sox cap presented by the private bank. So purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Here's Abreu. He just ripped bow and arrow a home run out of here.
His White Sox record for home runs on the road, 13 of them, is going to last for quite some time, I believe. He got a fastball middle in and hit the daylights out of it. Line drive rocket. That was out of here as quickly as anything we've seen.
Yeah, that's about as quick as the ball can get out of the park.
That looked a little like that Oakland shot he hit a couple years back.
Oh, that home run still stands out in my mind. His first season.
Yeah, that one looked like a laser that just hit that cement and bounced back. Seemingly, as soon as he swung, the ball was out of the ballpark.
Got in on him right there. Good pitch. 2 down. Here's Avi. He doubled and scored last inning. Way out in front.
Usher 6'3", 205 out of Huntsville, Alabama. Got to the major leagues with the Angels back in 2013. Then Minnesota signed him as a free agent in December of 2015.
Another good pitch in on the hands. Well, he's pitching in and changing speeds, and he's got himself a 1-2-3 inning, but we have ourselves a 5-0 lead.
At 11 with Draft Night Blackhawks preview, and the show is hosted by Pat Boyle, Steve Conroy, and Jamal Mayers. Presented by Chevy Drive Chicago, or live stream on csnchicago.com/watch live.
Five nothing good guys here in the bottom of the second inning. Escobar, Kepler, Polanco. First pitch strike. And Eduardo hitting at 300, 7 homers, 25 knocked in, and has been really one of the hot bats in this lineup lately.
He's 100 points better hitter from the right side. Many more left-handed bats, but he's hit 4 of his 7 home runs from the right side. which is his natural side.
Quintana on top, 1-2. Four hours and 50 minutes. That's the second longest rain delay that I've ever been involved in.
The longest being where?
At the old ballpark, 1990, against the Texas Rangers. We had a 7-hour 23-minute, and then didn't play the game. There's a cute story goes along with that. Not for Craig Graybeck, but Billy Martin was managing, and we'd go down later on to play the Rangers at Arlington. Billy's talking to me before the game. He says, watch your first hitter. Nolan Ryan was pitching. And there's a rocket. He continues to swing that bat. But Nolan Ryan was pitching. Craig Graybeck was the leadoff hitter. First pitch, he drilled him right in the ribs.
Ooh, that couldn't have felt too good.
Well, Nolan was very upset that White Sox made him wait 7 hours and 23 minutes.
I guess. But Graybeck didn't make him wait that long.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not for Craig Graybeck. So here's Kepler. A couple of buddies of mine during that rain delay. We went and played hearts for a couple of hours. Checks it up. Foul tips. Kepler 257, 8 long ones and 29 driven in. Checks it up on a breaking ball.
Kepler was signed as an undrafted free agent way back in 2009. Last year, not the best offensive year, but he did show that he belongs here. Hit 17 home runs, drove in 63.
Two on one to count.
He's just 24 years old and turned 24 before the season started, so he's got a tremendous upside.
Decent lead by Escobar. And a count 2-2. Well, if you're just joining us, we had 5 runs in the first inning. And this is one of those games where you're going to take those 5 runs and put them in the bank and just forget about them. And play it like it's still a 0-0 game.
Especially with the Thunder in this Twins lineup. Their problem has been, except for this series, they've had a hard time winning here at Target Field. They're just 16 and 24 here.
Well, a lot of times the team will get a big lead early and lose the intensity.
Oh, you do that, you're asking to lose the ball game.
That's exactly right. You got to just put them in the savings account and don't even think about them. He gone. Hook.
Second strikeout on slow curveballs. He got Sano. Now he gets Kepler. Jose's getting much better rotation on the breaking ball, and that one breaks straight down. Kepler swings over the top. We haven't seen Polanco in this series. He is their everyday starting shortstop, but he was working on a few things offensively. And that's why he took a couple of games off.
Switch hitter. Takes a little high. Actually, it was a strike.
That was a good pitch. He didn't get it. What would convince you? There's 5 switch hitters on this Twins team. You were counseling a young hitter. What would convince you to try to make that hitter a switch hitter?
Well, got him. Rack him up. And we'll go to the third.
Later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So back to the switch hitting philosophy.
Well, it's several things. It's amazing. Some guys, if you're going to do it, you're obviously better off doing it at a very young age. Convincing somebody, your son or somebody else, to try to switch hit. Some guys just don't, if they're right-handed naturally, they just don't like to look the ball on the other side of the plate. Looks like everything's coming right at them. When you're looking at it right-handed, it looks like it's normal. And then one of the other reasons, if a guy's really having trouble just hitting one way and yet he's got some talent as Todd takes ball one, then you might ask him to try it. Now, an example for that, one of the greatest switch hitters ever was Mickey Mantle. And Mickey hated to hit, absolutely hated to hit left-handed. But he promised his dad he would. His dad made him promise him that he would always switch hit. And that's the only reason he did it. He was much better hitter right-handed.
But power from both sides of the plate, big power.
Well, 600-foot power.
Would you consider speed in your considerations? I mean, if a guy's a burner, isn't it an advantage if he can hit both from both sides?
Speed would be well, especially if he was not a power hitter. Yeah, but Mickey, of course, was.
Yeah. But he was he was an aberration.
Yeah, he was. But like myself, I can hit the ball a very long way right-handed. I can even hit it further left-handed when we were screwing around in batting practice a lot of times. You know, and a lot of guys are like that. They can hit it further left-handed, or if they're a left-handed hitter, they can further right-handed. There's a shot. So Hyde now 2 for 2. And here's his first hit. First inning.
12th home run of the year, and he got a fastball right down the middle, took it into the bullpen. Made for a very quick night for Nick Turley, who departed after 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs on 6 hits. Todd has a couple of them.
And here's Davidson. Well, you faced, I'm sure, some teams with 3 or 4 switch hitters in that lineup.
Yeah, I didn't like it a lot.
I know a lot of guys don't.
I didn't like it very much, especially, as you say, you don't mind the power hitters. I didn't like the contact hitters who could hit from both sides of the plate. Those little left-handers who just made contact used to wear me out, and they were just tough to get out. You couldn't strike them out, and you knew they were going to make contact, and they could cover both sides of the plate.
Former partner of mine, Hall of Fame pitcher Don Drysdale, used to love it. He was 6'6" right-hander, hit more guys than anybody in the history of the game. Acknowledged to be the symbol of pitching, the meanest pitcher in baseball, and he just loved it when they stacked all left-handed hitters against him.
Well, you got the same release point. That was okay. 9 left-handers, you have the same release point to each and every one of them.
Davidson, who had a tough night last night.
He doesn't want to see any sliders in. I'm pretty sure about that. I'm not sure if his front leg is going to be able to hold up.
3 of them he hit off that front leg.
Barrios was just burying that fastball inside to the right-hand hitters.
And if you missed that game last night, poof. Here's the first one.
So the youngster was throwing a 2-seamer, and he was throwing it inside. You see the movement, and the movement taking it right off the leg of Matt Davidson. That one, wow, that one hit above the shin guard.
That's about 3 of the best I've seen in one at bat by a hitter. As there is ball 4, so the first 2 men aboard. First walk of the ball game. And here's Yolmer. As I mentioned earlier, you got to play it like it's a nothing game. Yolmer hit into a 5-4 fielder's choice. Good changeup. Good motion.
Yeah, 86 miles an hour is a good, strong velocity for a straight change, because if it fools a hitter, he can't double clutch and come back and swing at it. It'll be by you. It's just a little below adequate fastball range.
Well, Baltimore, the Orioles were the first team that taught a BP fastball in the game. And they were very successful with it.
Yeah, get to 2-0, 3-1. You throw a batting practice fastball, and guys would be well out in front of it. It wasn't exactly a straight change. It wasn't exactly a good fastball. But you're right in the middle of it.
There's the bind, a good one. I like it. I like it. You got to treat it like it's a nothing game.
Perfect butt by Yolmer. He deadened the ball, leaving Boschers with only 1 play. Chris Jimenez, he's the captain. He's got the play in front of him. You see him point to first base. He's yelling to Boschers, get it to first. He's the guy that's going to make that call because it's all unfolding. He's got no chance to get him at third, not even thinking about second. So sacrifice accomplished. Nice bunt.
So here's Kevin. Kevin singles sharply into center field. Infield is in. Outfield slightly to the right. Well, situation here, we got a left-hander out there who loves to pitch right-handers inside. And he's doing a pretty good job of it. So if that's the case, let's back off a little bit.
Well, I like the fact that Jimenez is not setting up early, especially on the straight change. He's sitting right in the middle of the plate, allowing Boshers to get a good target, but allowing that ball to move where it's going to move instead of setting up inside or outside for the straight change. He'll set up in and out for the fastball, just not the straight change.
Well, one thing you don't hear about as much, anywhere near as much today as you did in years past, is the fact that a lot of pitchers wanted them to set up right down the middle of the plate, and then they would throw to either knee. That way, the on deck. Of course, that was a different era and different culture where signs were stolen all the time.
Signs and location, especially. I mean, it's tough if you're going to go 3 or 4 signs. It's tough to steal the sign, but you can certainly give the hitter a location.
Well, that's why the on deck hitter was so critical back in those days, because he would give the location. Got in on him right there. Yeah, like Rico. If he was on deck, Petrocelli, I'd be at the plate. Kenny was inside. Hawk was outside, or vice versa.
Yep. Well, look, if you got a right-handed pitcher, you're a right-hand hitter. If the catcher's setting up inside, it's 95% a fastball. You don't have to read the signs. You just see him, it sets up, and a lot of catchers will set up early. And then either the man at second or, in your case, the on-deck hitter was able to tell you exactly where it was going to come.
Well, we stole signs off the catcher more than having somebody out with binoculars. Look at this. Kansas City special. So that's going to score 1, and it's 6-0. Yes.
Ten runs batted in now for Kevin, who's 2 for 2. He brought his hands in. Boshers was staying inside with just about everything, and Kevin looked at that fastball in, brought the hands in, and dumped it into left center field.
That's why I love that. You got to treat it like it's a 0-0 game, and 2 men on, nobody out, bunt them over. So here's Adam. Adam had an RBI single back in the first inning. David Novak's picked a click. Watch out. He's back in there.
That was a set play and a good one as Jimenez to Escobar. Heads up base running play by Matt Davidson as he was able to read it, but
yeah, that's about as well as that could be executed.
Yeah, really well done. It wasn't tipped off at all, and that comes on a sign from the catcher. He got back in. How would you rate Engel as a defender in center field?
Well, I saw him some this spring on my iPad since I wasn't out there. And it seems here, so far, he looks as base hit. That a boy, Adam. And it's 7-0. So far, he reminds me of a faster Austin Jackson, who Austin caught everything.
He did, and Engel is really fast.
Oh, he's, yeah. Very fast.
All he's got to do is show he can make some contact, and he's done just that. So he waited a while to get that first run batted in, but didn't wait too long to get the second one as he drills it by Escobar, who has a tip off the glove, and the hit parade continues.
So here's Anderson. He is single sharply into center and then going out deep to center, taking Buxton back up against the fence.
There's Matt Belisle, who's done a nice job out of the bullpen. This is a revamped bullpen. The pen last year really struggled. This year they've made a couple of additions, and Belisle is one of those additions. And although the ERA looks bad at just over 7, it's only been a couple of performances that have swollen it.
7-10 and 0 for us, 0-2 and 0 for them here in the 3rd inning. If you're just getting home tuning in after a 450-minute rain delay. Out in front. Yanks it foul. Another one. Almost a blueprint. Well, you mentioned earlier about Minnesota after the game. They're going to go down to Cleveland for 3, and then Boston for 4, and Kansas City for 3. And this is exactly what Paul Molitor did not want to happen.
No, not heading into a road trip, which looks like it's going to be torturous for the Twins. Although the Twins have done well, very well on the road, 20-9.
2 down. Well, what makes it bad is if you go out there with a tired bullpen.
Well, I think, you know, what Paul has done with this ball club to this point is he's gone with one less pitcher out of the bullpen to have one more move off the bench. And I think that probably comes to an end with this road trip.
They will have an extra arm.
Absolutely. You're going to have to. You're going to have to go instead of 7 arms. You're going to have to go with 8 arms. And that's going to be it for Boschers. He's going to depart. Matt Belisle's going to come in. And as he trots in, we'll step out and be back after these messages.
Stocks are presented by Guaranteed Rate. For a low mortgage rate and incredible customer service, go to rate.com.
A Hyundai call to the pen is Matt Belisle. We saw him in this series. He pitched an inning and a third in the opening night of the series. Gave up a hit and a walk, and there you look at the numbers. Again, a couple of bad outings out of his 29. Seen that ERA rise up over 7, but only, well, 21 strikeouts. Not bad in 26+ innings.
2 on 2 out, and here's Cabrera. Takes first pitch strike. Cabrera is 0 for 2. Hit into a 3-4 fielder's choice and also struck out.
Well, time constraints dictate that I can't tell you everywhere that Matt Belila's pitched, but safe to say, starting in 1999, this guy has been just about everywhere. Cincinnati, Colorado, St. Louis, Washington, and now Minnesota in the major leagues.
One and two. Abreu on deck. Good play by Maurer. He'll take it himself. And that'll retire the side. But two more across the plate. We go to the bottom of the third. We lead us 7-0.
Powered by AWS, and it's Joey Gallo, known for his power, not necessarily his speed, but an inside the park home run. And Gallo turns it on. Long strides. He's a big man, very strong. And how long did it take him, you ask? That's easy. 15.91 seconds for an inside the park home run. Rougned Odor certainly likes it. Sox fans indifferent. They're just happy with a 7-0 lead. A little tired. It's been a long day.
What? Yeah, especially when it was scheduled to start at 12:10. And even with a late bus, you get here 10:30. First pitch strike. Jimenez hitting at .215, 3 homers, 7 driven in. Nice gap in right center if he can find it. Checking a few finals for you. Houston beat Oakland 12-9 out at the Coliseum. Houston now 50-24. Reminds me a little bit of the 05 Sox. We were the first to 20, the first to 30, the first to 40, the first to 50 wins. Wound up winning 99.
How about Houston's road record? Absolutely astonishing. 27-8 on the road.
That's crazy.
That's pretty impressive. That's the best record in the major leagues. And these Twins, well, they're the second best in the major leagues at 20-9. Well, that's actually a strike, but he didn't get it. Good pitch on the outside corner. Jerry Meals did not give it to him.
Well, the first 2 games were well umpired, even though we lost them both. So far, Niels has missed a few. Watch out. Other scores: Arizona beat the Rockies 10-3 out of Denver. Milwaukee doubled up Pittsburgh 4-2 at Miller Park. Texas 11, Toronto 4. Down in Texas, Phillies beat the Cardinals 5-1 at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Here you go.
Long at bat. Good battle. Chris Jimenez eventually losing it. Taking an off-speed pitch. What appeared to be a straight change right down the middle.
That was exactly what it was, and that's why it's astonishing almost that he's thrown so few for strikes.
Well, I think he's starting to realize that that's a tremendous weapon to have, and he's throwing. He threw more last time out against Toronto. He's throwing some more here today.
Well, he's for the most part been very effective with the high fastball. High fastball and striking out a lot of guys.
Yeah, that wipes out a lot of hitters.
Nice play, good throw. So Buxton is retired.
That gives you an idea why Tim Anderson was signed to a long-term deal. He has great skills. It's just a question now at a very young age of harnessing them. He's got a strong arm, great range, and that was a terrific play because he got a burner going down the line and he threw out Buxton by plenty.
Well, there's no question. Talent is not an issue with Anderson.
Nope.
But you also have to go back to that tragic incident. His best friend being shot. I mean, that can affect some people for a while.
There is no doubt. I mean, those guys grew up together, and
his best friend.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, you've got to go back because what have we said? Even in between innings, we said he's playing like he's not into it. And that ball into right field, right at him. And that will retire the side. But I'll tell you one thing right now, you got to give him a pass.
Yep. number this weekend by reliving his no-hitter tomorrow night and his perfect game on Saturday. Then tune in for the live ceremony coverage beginning at noon on CSN or live stream at csnchicago.com.
Abreu will lead us off here in the top of the 4th inning. He is 1 for 2, but it was now he is going to go foul. Dadgummit. That first hit, that 2-run homer, that was something to see. That ball left the park just about as quick as one can leave a park.
Well, Jose is swinging it awfully well. You see the batting average right at 300. The runs batted in on pace to drive in over 100. He's been at or over 100 for 3 straight years. No reason to assume that this is going to be any different.
And if you missed that home run in the first inning, short arms, quick swing, and a rocket.
Ideally, where do you want to see the finish?
As much in front of his chest as possible. Keep the bat in front of your chest. That gets arms in close. And it's do the math. It's one of those do the math scenarios. The shorter the bat, well, the shorter the swing, the quicker the swing. The more extension you get, the slower the swing, because it's bigger. That's why it's just amazing how far and how hard you can hit a ball with short arms. Some guys cannot do it. They just can't, because they've never tried it. They've never done it. They can't do it. But if you watch him, like in BP especially, that his arms never get behind him. Never get behind him.
So his finish a lot like Paul's finish, Paul Konerko, where he was finishing right in front of his chest a lot.
Exactly right. Good. Yeah. That's a good analogy. Yeah, Paul, that's one reason Paul was a great fastball hitter. There are a lot of good fastball hitters, but you don't find many great fastball hitters. And Paulie was certainly a great fastball hitter. Molitor, great fastball hitter.
Well, he had over 3,000 hits to prove it. And he could steal some bases. You're talking about a guy that stole bases in the 40s for a couple of years.
Well, I think going back over my career, if there's one guy who I think could, not definitively, but close to being definitively, put him at the top as far as being a fastball hitter, was Frank Howard. The gentle giant. You couldn't shoot a 30-30 by him. Another really good fastball hitter was a guy named Joe Pepitone, who played for the Yankees. Ton of talent. Could do it all.
He stood right on top of the plate. I faced him when he came over the National League briefly. He stood right on top of the plate. Seemingly used a pretty short bat, and you try to get the ball inside, you couldn't get it inside on him.
He could really hit with short arm.
Yes.
And there's another situation where the younger you can start them to get to do that, the better chance they'll have. That's high. He just missed it. He just missed it. And Sox fans, join us on Friday, June 30th for Mullet Night. Mullet Night and a post-game fireworks show presented by Great Clips. Now, the night features haircuts courtesy of Great Clips and mullet wigs for purchase to support Ronald McDonald House charities. Great Clips is going to be great, so get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Here's Avi. Avi, 1 for 2, a double, and a run scored. 7-10-0 for the good guys. 0-2-0 for their guys. Blanco. 2 down. Boy, that big man can move it down that line.
He goes down the line the same way since he came in the major leagues until today. He just goes down the line with everything he's got, whether it's a routine ground ball to shortstop or whether he's looking for a double. That's one of the things, even in the real darkest time for him when he was really struggling with the bat and having a tough time defensively. That's one thing that's never changed. He's always hustled, which if you do that, you're always going to make your manager very happy.
Todd, 2-run homer, a single. And he also scored when he singled, leading off the last inning. Jacks it up. Gap, a nice gap out there in left center. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It is surprising how so many teams shift in different ways depending on their charts, because you have a lot of teams that play Todd as a pull hitter, both in the infield and outfield. Twins are playing him as a dead pull hitter in the infield, but an opposite field hitter in the outfield. But Buxton in center field can go get him with anybody in either league. Twins have shown a great deal of patience, as you would expect from a guy that was their first-round draft pick, the second pick in the country, because he's a 5-tool player. He just hasn't been able to get near everything out of himself that's in there.
I like his chances.
Boy, he's got some things that you can't duplicate. He's very strong. We haven't seen remotely how well he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark consistently. And as far as speed is concerned, there's very few with that kind of speed in anywhere in baseball.
Playing it perfectly. A 1-2-3 inning, and we lead it 7-0.
Chicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Whether it's pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, or more, escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. And it's absolutely astonishing how quickly these folks in Minnesota will run to their boats when it stops raining and get out on one of their 10,000 lakes.
Joe Mauer will lead it off for the Twinkies in a 7-0 White Sox lead. Mauer singled his first trip. Takes a strike. Breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Two and two.
Adam Engel is swung around drastically to left center field. That's where Mauer hits when he hits fly balls most of the time.
There's a good breaking ball to hit, and he hit it well.
Joe's won 3 batting titles. These days, he's a good hitter. He's not near as fearsome as he once was. And the one thing that the Twins would like him to do, that he's really not that kind of hitter, is become a prolific run producer. So they put him in the 2 spot. He is a good man for hit and run with Dozier up. And he's got protection behind him with Sano. So it's a fine place for him to hit in his batting order.
Mauer has always amazed me for a couple of reasons. First of all, his athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. And I always have just thought in my mind, I've seen guys like this, but he's got enough power to be in that 30+ home run category. And he's never even approached him.
No, and when he moved over from the Dome to here, his line drives in the Dome went out of the ballpark. Here, his line drives are doubles.
Well, we saw that the first game here.
Yep.
When we mentioned the first game here, this is going to be a game changer for Minnesota. They had a tremendous advantage in the old ballpark. This leveled the playing field out, this ballpark here.
Well, you had to completely change the way you built your baseball team. I mean, Sano wasn't the typical kind of Twin player if you're talking about the Dome.
Well,
they let David Ortiz go.
Getting ready to say the poster child was Ortiz.
Yeah. And I mean, because it was very much of a speed ballpark and they couldn't allow any team to come in with more speed, they got rid of some guys that went on to have pretty good careers. Greg Breslow doing some adjustments on his glove. The venerable left-hander who's been a whole lot of places, now toiling out of the Twins' pen.
Well, back in that time frame then, Minnesota was probably the most disciplined organization in all of Major League Baseball. I mean, even spring training and when minor leagues, I should say, guys had to structure and put their gear in their lockers a certain way.
Tom Kelly was one of the great managers around, and he demanded a certain amount from his players and wouldn't accept anything less. And what I liked about Minnesota was, if you didn't get the Minnesota way, if you didn't come over here and play the Minnesota way, you were gone. You just couldn't play for that team. You couldn't play for Tom Kelly.
That's why they were disciplined. He gone. Got him on a changeup. Or check that. A curveball the first time and a fastball this time.
Shaves off the inside corner. Might have got the benefit of the call, and Sano for the second time goes down. Not happy with the call, but there's a man on the mound who's pretty happy with a pitch that was a good 3 inches off the inside corner.
So here's Robbie Grossman. I remember a series in our ballpark. It was a Saturday day game. And it was a very windy day. And Minnesota muffed a couple of pop-ups. And after the game was over, Kelly kept the club there, and they went out on the field and practiced pop-ups in our ballpark. How many times have you ever seen that?
I was going to say, you don't see that much today. No. I would say that departed with Tom Kelly. Well, he was just a terrific manager. And they had a guy in center field that could go get him and displayed some of the great leadership in the history of the game, and that was Torrey Hunter. I know he's one of your favorites.
Before them,
Kirby Puckett. Yeah.
Well, Torrey Hunter to me is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's a clear-cut Hall of Famer. It's not even questionable because the man was over 200 games over 500 in his career with the teams he played on.
And one of the things that they don't judge when they talk about the Hall of Fame certainly is the leadership that he showed wherever he went, and the team was much better when he was on it because he was just a natural leader.
Yeah.
And he led wherever he went. And I know every team, and I know the Sox came an eyelash from getting him, which might have changed the history of this organization had they got him to play center field.
Well, Kenny tried.
Yeah.
Kenny tried like very hard, let's put it that way, to get him, and then at the last moment,
Angels came up with another year on the contract
and more money. And we offered him, Kenny offered him a lot of money.
Just a terrific
player. Same thing
player.
with Bartolo Colon. We had Bartolo Colon. And here come Angels, another year and $12 million more. And that year he goes out and he wins the Cy Young with them. But you couldn't blame him for the offers that he made because he tried like the devil to get him. Both of them.
Bartolo was a young pitcher with the Indians, and I knew he was something special when I saw a ball game he pitched. The 150th pitch of his complete game was 100 miles an hour.
There's something. One of my favorites. Can't get him, but a good try.
Got to make sure of one before you get two, and Jose played that ball nicely, made a good solid throw to Yolmer. They couldn't get the double play, but he did cut down the lead runner.
Boy, Torrey Hunter was one of those guys. I couldn't stand him. And what does that mean? It means he's a great player because all he does when you can't stand a guy, he beats you. That's why you don't like him.
Beats you and does many things to aggravate you.
All he did was beat you. It's like AJ. That's in the left field. That's a can of corn. And that'll retire the side. We're getting to the fifth. We lead at 7-0. And Superhero Night collide on June 29th as your Sox take on the New York Yankees at 7:10. Now the first 10,000 fans in attendance will receive this Go-Go White Sox tee. Plus, don't miss your favorite superheroes roaming the concourse throughout the game. So to get your tickets, visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
Got a new pitcher coming in the ball game, and it is Craig Breslow, who's 1-1, his ERA at 4.62, on for the 26th time. He was drafted way back in 2002. He was a captain of the Yale baseball team and a 26th round draft choice. When you get this kind of career for a guy drafted in the 26th round, you got yourself something special. And right-handers have really hurt him this year to the tune of a .308 batting average.
Here's Matt. Matt has walked, scored on that, and also his first at bat he singled. Strike on the inside corner. One time he was named the smartest man in baseball. That ball hit high and deep. They just go back, they just look up, and you can put it on the board. Yes. A bomb, and it's 8-0.
That's a 17th home run, 38th driven in. Matt Davidson getting a chance to play a whole lot more these days and making the most of it. That was off the facade of the upper deck. A blast off the bat of Matt Davidson. It looked like a changeup. Our Ford home run replay. This is the liveliest we've ever seen this ballpark play. I mean, home runs are one thing. Towering home runs are something else. There's been some bombs in the series. .432, they estimate that.
As that ball hit deep into right field, Kepler going back on the track. And that ball just carried and carried. So 1 out. If Matt Davidson ever learns how to lay off that high fastball, he's going to hit 40+ home runs every year.
Well, if he gets an opportunity, and he's certainly shown that he's going to do that, he might get in the neighborhood this year.
Sure he could.
This is one really strong man.
Sure he could. And with a strong man with a ton of talent.
Yeah.
Here's Kevin. Kevin is 2 for 2 with an RBI.
If the Sox do hang on, and you would think they would at 8-0, even though this has not been the best series, this would be a 3-3 road trip. And coming off a 2-7 road trip, 3-3 is looking pretty good. And when this game ends, Sox will have played 44 games on the road. Coming home for their longest homestand to date, they've only played 27 at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Eduardo sucks it up and throws him out.
That was a 7th home run in the last 10 games for Matt Davidson.
So here's Adam Engel, 2 for 2, 2 RBIs. Good rip. Those road games, we lead the major leagues in road games play.
Well, this was a self-professed rebuilding year. But in a year where the Sox have everything together, where they've built their ball club, this would be a schedule you'd pray for. Get your tough road trips out of the way early, and then play the majority of your games coming home at home, where the team plays much better.
Well, if you've got the right attitude, yes.
Yeah.
If you don't, No, because you get buried and then guys pack it in. Our guys are not going to pack it in. They're not going to quit.
Known with a very favorable schedule coming home, and the division kind of hanging there, you never really know.
But a bomb off the bat of Matt Davidson. And we're halfway home leading 8-0. Wow. To right fielder Max Kepler, breaking ball inside. Kepler struck out on a breaking pitch. Good curveball from Q. That evens the count. If you're just getting home, wondering how we are just in the bottom of the 5th inning.
We were wondering the same thing.
It was because of a 4-hour and 50-minute rain delay. Yalmer's got him. 1 out.
And if you're thinking that that is a bit unusual, you're right, because it's the longest rain delay in the history of the Minnesota Twins.
I remember having some rain delay way back when. The old Met in Bloomington. And they'd bring the helicopters out. Dry off the field.
They should have brought them out to disrupt the mosquitoes, because the mosquitoes at the Met were the size of bumblebees.
The one thing you didn't want to do in that ballpark was be playing them on bat day. With those metal stands.
Ooh,
oh. Polanco. Count evens at 1. That's low. We scored 5 in the first, 2 in the third, and 1 in the top half of this inning. That ball hit well. Foul ball, thank you very much. We mentioned as we depart, the Twins are going to be departing, going on that tough road trip. It's tough to go on a road trip, especially starting off in Cleveland when you were just swept by Cleveland in 4 games here.
That was a big series because at that point Minnesota came in. They had a 2-game lead. They didn't exactly have a stranglehold on the division, but a 2-game lead's pretty good. And in a 4-game series where you don't figure to get swept at home, they lost all 4. And after the series, the Indians had a 2-game lead.
And this is going to be a 3-game series. They play in Cleveland, then they go to Boston for 4 and Kansas City for 3. So this could be a defining road trip for Minnesota. As there's a base hit. A smash through the hole. Now on the other side of that page, we're going to go home. And starting tomorrow, Oakland for 3, Yankees for 4, and Texas for 3. So I mean, it's not like we got a day at the beach.
No, but you love to play them at home. And the bad news for any team right now playing the Indians is the guy that they acquired to get it done in the middle, Edwin Encarnacion, is starting to hit the ball. That's not good news.
There's first pitch strike.
Timberwolves apparently are going to be a very happy team as they've acquired Jimmy Butler.
Big gap in right center.
Good double play candidate if you can get Jimenez to hit the ball on the ground.
Well, I've been coming here a long time. And it's just a good sports town. It really is. I mean, they love their Vikings, and their Vikings have been year in and year out over the last 30 or 40 years. I'm telling you, they've just been very, very competitive.
He got to 4 Super Bowls under Bud Grant. Just couldn't get the job done.
Ryan Tarkington. They had another quarterback that I used to love to watch play, Joe Cap.
Yeah, he was something.
Oh yeah.
He was some quarterback.
I got to know him a little bit. I tell you, he was something. You're right. He threw it. He gone. Joe threw a lot of what you call end over end spirals.
Well, for some of our fans who might be a year or 2 older, he threw a lot like, well, personality was like Bobby Lane of the Lions. Sonny Jurgensen threw similar passes. The tight spiral was not the long suit of Joe Cap.
No.
But he would get it there. It happened to get there to the receivers.
Here's Buxton. He grounded out to short, but they're good. Minnesota's a good sports town. The Wild are pretty good as well.
They've had some epic battles with the Blackhawks.
Better believe it.
Come on, Buck.
2 out, 1-1 to count. With Jorge Polanco on first base.
By the way, Aaron Judge has just hit his 25th home run. 25 home runs. And he's driven in 3 runs to give him 57. So the big contention is the home run hitting contest. Do you think he should play in it?
If he were my son, I would tell him no.
Just take your good year, your team's in contention.
Don't break your rhythm.
And stay right there.
Don't break your rhythm. I tried like crazy to talk the Big Hurt out of it one year. I think it was held in Pittsburgh when he hit some ungodly bombs. And he comes back, and it took him a while to get back into his regular rhythm, as obvious there. Makes the catch. They'll retire the side. We lead at 8-0 right now. Let's go back to our studios and Mark Shanowski. Mark Shanowski and Will Perdue and Kendall Gill. That's a lot of information in just a very short period of time.
Well, it really is.
And good stuff.
And a big move as far as the Bulls are concerned. Those guys broke it down really well, explained why they had to make the move and how it's going to benefit both teams. So some big news.
Good job,
being
guys.
made here in Minneapolis and in Chicago.
We're in the top of the 6th here. That ball hit hard. Right at him, almost in his tracks, just 3 steps.
Let's take a look at the defensive package of Tim Anderson, who's been very good today. This a double play. 360 spin on the money to cut down Buxton, and Ricky Renteria appreciates the effort. Jose Quintana loves the effort. And Tim Anderson, to go with the defense today, has swung the bat as well as he's swung it in a while.
Cabrera takes strike 1. He's 0 for 3. Getting the hole at will. And he's 1 for 4. And here is Abreu. 1 for 3, a 2-run homer. One of the hardest hit balls of the season. Not for distance, but for elapsed time leaving the park.
It got out in a blink of an eye.
A bam, bam, when it hit that seat. Oh, and 1 to count. Line shot, and the count 0-2.
And the young man, after the ball rattled around for a bit, winds up with the souvenir. Breslow tried to heat him upstairs, but that one way out of the zone.
Foul tipped, but hung on to. So here's Avi. Avi 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored in the first inning. In that 3-game series against the Oakland A's starting tomorrow night at our place, make your plans to be with us. They're going to run Cotton, Gossett, and Gray out there. We're going to run Mike Pelfrey, James Shields, and Derek Holland against them. Pelfrey has really been pitching well. 3.56 ERA.
Sets up to be a pretty good series. Oakland's really struggled on the road at 9-25. They designated for assignment their catcher is a 2-time All-Star, Stephen Vogt. That was somewhat surprising when we saw that this morning. But they're going to move Vogt somewhere else. And he's a guy who could swing the bat.
And there's a shot base hit. So Ivy now 2 for 4. He continues his offensive output in a very strong way.
Breslow wants to get this ball inside, actually got it inside, but Avi able to pull the hands in and get the head of the bat on it. So we've talked about Abreu being able to do that. Avi is showing the ability to do that more and more.
Well, he's been watching the guy hitting in front of him.
It's a good guy to watch.
Yeah, you know, it's such a big asset for a young player. In Detroit, he had Miguel Cabrera there. He watched him, talked to him. They still, in fact, when we played Detroit not too long ago, they had a long conversation underneath the, in the clubhouse. As here is Todd. Todd is 2 for 3 with a 2-run homer. And now he's got Abreu here. And to be on the same team and watch these guys and see what they do and see the way they go about their business is a big asset.
Well, watching Jose, the way he goes about his business, because he is a prolific worker, just a prolific run producer, always has been, and he's carried it over here to the major leagues. But his preparation each and every day is wonderful. And with Avi able to watch it up close and personal on a daily basis, it can't help but make him a much better hitter, and we're seeing the results of it this year. That's a man who's got over 1 million votes, and vote to send him to the All-Star game. He richly deserves it. He's got a chance to be voted in.
That pitch was not a strike. And it's still 8-0. Good guys.
And it centers around Yoan Moncada, who had a thumb injury and things didn't go very well for a while. But now he's back, he's healthy, and he's tearing it up. The last 8 games, 344 with a home run, driven in 6, scored 8 with 10 walks. So he's got a good eye. He's stealing a lot of bases, and now he's healthy and ready to go.
And the word is out, as you mentioned, he is really coming a long way defensively.
Well, that's where he really had to work, and he's done a nice job of it. He's got great speed, and now, because of footwork, the hands have come along with it.
Well, it's hard to use good hands unless you get into position.
You've been talking about staying low all year long for infielders, and there's no replacement for that. You don't stay low, you can't field.
Not in the big leagues. Ball's too quick. And the argument a lot of times the guys will tell you, well, I'm a step slower when I get low. Well, first of all, you're not going to be a step slower. You might be a half step slower, but you're not going to be a step slower. And that's the lame excuse, because you're better off being a half step slower, being able to handle bad hops than, as he's gone, than being a half step quicker and making all the mistakes.
We'll take another look at it. That was a pretty good pitch. Dozier didn't like it, but as you'll see, it's right on the outside corner. That is a strike. And Dozier, for the first time, cut down on strikes.
Here's Mauer, 2 for 2.
Q is working quickly, hasn't walked anybody, has given up 4 singles, has 6 strikeouts. He hasn't figured out Joe Mauer yet, but not many people have.
Adam Engel sharing his sunglasses now with Avi. Pretty good pitch, did not get it. That part of the zone. Got in on him, good pitch. So 2 down. And Sox fans, join us for country music night as our Sox take on the Oakland Athletics tomorrow at 7:10. Now be sure to stay after the game for our post-game fireworks show presented by all the great folks at Coca-Cola. So to get your tickets, just go to visitwhitesox.com/country. Miguel Sano 0 for 2 with 2 punch outs. You know, talking about getting low. If you'll notice, most of the great plays that are made by the corners, I'm talking about first and third, most of the great plays are made with the guy on the ground. Most of the great plays, the guy is on the ground when he made the great play. And the reason they're on the ground, because they were low.
There you take a look at a difficult first inning for Q. Other than that, he's pretty much sailed right along.
Three and 1 to count. remember a third baseman the Red Sox had named Wade Boggs. They always talked about how much time he spent on the ground. Meanwhile, he made a ton of great plays.
He was an underrated fielder because he was such a great hitter.
Exactly right.
That was a good fastball, pinpointed right under the hands of Sano. Now here's the change. Let's see if he fools him.
Third strikeout for Sano. 1-2-3 inning for Q. And Quintana leads at 8-0.
Official White Sox MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
It'll be Davidson, Sanchez, and Smith. And our offense has been a tale of two cities, so to speak. From opening day to May 15th, our team average was .237, 7 homers, 34 driven in. That ball hit into center field hard over the head of Buxton. That's just a bullet off the bat of Matt, who is 3 for 3, a single, a homer, and now the double.
Well, he certainly loves what he sees in Craig Breslow because he's been up twice against him and obliterated the ball twice. This is a rocket first pitch. Even with the great speed of Buxton, he can't catch up to this one.
Did I mention opening day to May 15th, 237. Now, from May 16th up until coming into the day, our average is 287.
Might have a little something to do with the weather and the weather heating up as the hitters have heated up.
Well, and also some stuff that Todd Stevenson's trying to get through to some of the guys.
Hey, nice pitch, baby.
Well, you always talk about the fact that you have to find a way to make yourself dangerous. And although this isn't the greatest hitting team around, they're good, but this is a dangerous team. They got some guys that can really hurt you.
Oh, yeah. That's what you want. The only thing a manager and a hitting coach wants is for his hitters to give them 4 good at bats. Not that you got to go 2 for 4 or 3 for 4. You don't have to. Just give them 4 good at bats. Even if you're 0 for 4, give them 4 good at bats.
Well, Tim Anderson has 1 hit today, but he's had good at bats. I know he struck out swinging in the 3rd, but other than that, hit the ball hard in the 1st inning twice, and again lined out in the 6th. So he's had 3 of 4 good at bats.
Well, even when he struck out, he has some good couple good hacks in that at bat. So it's, you don't teach guys how to hit at the major league level. You teach them how to be dangerous, because if you're trying to teach them how to hit, that means mechanics. If you how to be dangerous. That's approach. Popped up. Get out of here. Mauer's got to play. So Yolmer's retired.
Avi's been dangerous all year, and Omar has had a solid year. Very good eye. One of those guys that knows the strike zone exceptionally well, and getting a lot of production out of both Kevin Smith and Omar Narvaez.
Pretty good rip. Good try by Breslow. Just off the corner.
And regardless of how this works out for Breslow, he is giving Paul Molitor what he really needed, which was some outs out of that bullpen. This is going to be his third inning of work.
Well, as we talked about earlier, there probably will be a roster move by Minnesota, having somebody join them in Cleveland.
Yeah, you're going into Cleveland, then you're going to Boston. And Kansas City, which has lately been swinging the bat very well. Kansas City is red hot at this point. They're going to need an extra arm.
Yep. Two down. So that'll bring up Engel, who is 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. David Novak's picked to click. Gap out there in left center. Little quick breaking ball. Pretty good rip by Adam. Meanwhile, 1-2. Breslow has always been tough on us.
He's around the plate with everything, and he's not overwhelming, certainly.
Change of speeds.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
His ERA against us, career-wise, 2.15. Attaboy, Adam. So now they're going to hold him. So Engel, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs.
You never know when that opportunity is going to come, and for Adam, this is his second opportunity, and this time he's swinging it well. Leary went on the disabled list. He had a hand problem, and that necessitated Adam Engel coming up. Everyone knew the defense was there. The question is, could he swing the bat? I think he's answering that.
Well, Leary was swinging the bat pretty good.
He was swinging it great.
Yeah, that's why we got to get him to stop sliding head first into bases. Got to get all our guys. You don't. I mean, we've just seen too much of it. It's no coincidence that you come up with a bad finger, bad hand, bad wrist, bad elbow, sliding head first into bases.
Well, Joe Girardi wants to see it banned in baseball. I'm not sure that it's going to happen, but they lost a wonderful prospect. He came over from the Cubs. He was going to be their shortstop, probably still is, Gleyber Torres. And he's going to have Tommy John surgery on his non-throwing elbow from a play sliding into the plate. And they lost a really good one for the year.
Well, look at Adam Eaton for us. And then now he goes to Washington, does the same thing. I mean, it's crazy. And it's going to be up to the teams to stop it. Because these guys have been used to doing it for a long time, and they sniff a base hit, and they're going to dive in there.
Yeah, the head first into first base is
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I don't mind the head first in other places. Some guys do it better than others. Yep.
To home, when you can maybe go around a guy and reach back and touch the bag.
But to first base, you get there slower. You open yourself up to lots of injuries. We've seen a lot of guys lost for a couple of months. Some guys lost for the year on head first slides into first base.
Look at Mike Trout.
Yeah, that was a terrible blow.
That ball hit hard. Get over his head. It will. Here comes one. Now Adams going to be held at third. And it's 9-0. Good day offensively for Anderson. Good at bats.
Drives in his 20th run. That shows you exit velocity. On a low breaking ball, he drove it over the head of Grossman in left field, who thought he was going to make the catch, and then the ball just seemed to take off. Grossman has no chance whatsoever. It's going to be the last pitch that Breslow is going to throw as Paul Molitor out to the mound. Already motioned to the pen. And so as he walks off, we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
Purchase, you receive a game ticket and enjoy all-you-can-eat buffet and all-inclusive wine, beer, and Coke products. Now, the patio opens 90 minutes prior to the game and closes 30 minutes after the start of the game. So to get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/group.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Alan Buchnitz. We've seen him in this series. He gave up a run on 3 hits, on for just the 3rd time. He inherits a couple of base runners at 2nd and 3rd. And the Twins using 4 relievers, 5 pitchers as their starter. Turley went just 2/3 of an inning, so a lot of outs to cover for that beleaguered Twins pen.
9-16-0 for us, 0-4-0 for them. And here is Cabrera, 1 for 4. Sox trying to come home 3-3 on what has been historically a very tough road trip. We've always had problems up in Toronto. And we've always had problems here in Minnesota.
Well, the season series coming into today, the Twins had won 7 of the 10 games. But all Sox today as the offense has exploded.
Softly hit. And that'll retire a side. 7th inning stretch. We lead it 9-0. Every device, watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. It's a 9-0 Sox lead.
And Jose is coasting right along. 4 singles, no walks. He's had masterful control. Changed speeds well, incorporated that straight change into his repertoire a little bit more than he's been doing it recently. And all things considered, his best performance of the year.
One of 2 of them, for sure.
Yeah. And
well, the big thing to me also is that our club is headed in the right directions. Everything is going good. We had a little blinked our eye last night in that bad ball game as far as the defense goes. But he's giving our bullpen a rest. And they needed a rest.
And there's not going to be any off days on the next homestand, so
they needed a rest, and he's giving it to them. There's a base hit.
We'll take a look at some of the day of Jose Quintana. Got Sano on a breaking ball, got Kepler on a breaking ball, throwing good changes, dotting the I on the inside corner, throwing high fastballs away. All things considered, he's been in control from the start till now.
So here is Escobar. He's 1 for 2. Solid single to left field. That was leading off the 2nd inning. Well, our starters uncharacteristically, because Don Cooper is one of, if not the best pitching coach in the game. He's got more quality starts on his starters than any other pitching coach in the game. So that speaks for itself. But this year, our starters have not gone very long in ball games.
Well, look, the rotation has been decimated by injuries, but the last 28 games, only 5 quality starts heading into today. That's really unusual for a Don Cooper starting rotation. There's a look at Coop, who has to be very happy with what undoubtedly will be a quality start from Quintana today. He's up to 106 pitches, so one way or the other, it's probably going to be the last inning he's going to work. With that in mind, the bullpen starts to stir. Jake Petrichka.
Two-two pitch. He gone. One out.
First time he got Escobar on a strikeout today. Good breaking ball in the dirt. He wipes him out, and a nice stop by Kevin Smith. That ball looked like it caught a piece of the plate. When it does that, the ball just flattens out, and he was able to stop it from scooting by.
Kepler struck out and grounded out to second. Yeah, that bullpen of ours definitely in need of a rest. What a job they have done. Wow.
Considering it was banged up. Yeah. I mean, Swarzak has been terrific. Kane Lee has been a revelation this year. Chris Beck has had his moments where he's thrown very well.
Yeah, if you go plus or minus, he's been a plus.
Yep.
It's just that simple. Where was that?
Well, that's a perfect pitch.
Where was
I'm
that
not sure how Jerry Meals missed that one.
You can't miss that pitch.
This is right down the middle. Right down the middle, knee high.
Wow.
It split the plate.
Wow. Two and two. Outfield straight up. He gone. Another hook. Two down.
9 strikeouts for Jose today. And here comes Ricky Renteria. That's probably going to be it for Q, who's been just brilliant. That slow curveball today has been a huge weapon for him.
Well, that's you just hit it right on the head. Changing speeds on the breaking ball. This is best he's been all year with that pitch.
No doubt.
All right. What a job by Jose Quintana. He departs, and we'll be back. overlooks left field and is accessible from all levels of guaranteed rate field. Now, the space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instructions from White Sox Training Academy coaches. And while there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. X1 by Xfinity. It will change the way you experience TV.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Jake Petrichka. He comes on. He inherits Grossman at first base. On for the 6th time. He's 1-0. His ERA up over 6. He's just getting back off the DL. Looks like the sinker is starting to sink. And Jose Quintana covered 20 outs. Didn't walk anybody. Fan 9 with 5 singles given up.
Polanco 1 for 2. 2 for 3.
For Polanco, who's another switch hitter, his strong side is the left side. He's 40 points better. He took that ball through the middle.
Here's Jimenez 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs against Quintana. One thing about Jimenez, he has hit some rockets foul today.
As long as he keeps hitting him foul, that's fine.
One and two. Nine 16-0 for us, 0-6-0 for them if you're just joining us. Yeah, souvenir right side. We scored 5 in the first, 2 in the third, 1 in the fifth, and 1 here in the top of the 7th. Back into.
That was right at the Dutchman, it looked like, who olayed it, by the way. I just,
Well, he's a pitcher.
Yeah, you have to just look. He missed it, and it's one of those things. It was a good pitcher. Obviously wasn't a catcher. He's explaining to Dick Bremer how that happened.
Well, as a pitcher, he's offering some sort of excuse. He gone. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 8th. Leading by a bunch.
located in Chicagoland and is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom, your mortgage just happened.
8th inning. And what was earlier a 4-hour, 50-minute rain delay. It'll be Abreu, Garcia, and Frazier, the scheduled hitters. Abreu got us on the board in the first inning with a bullet out of here for a 2-run homer.
Jose Quintana, 6 2/3. Just 5 singles, no walks, and 9 strikeouts.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Rick Hahn's phone will be ringing tomorrow.
Well, you know, each and every time that Jose goes out, especially, there's a whole lot of scouts taking a look at his stuff. And not only him, I mean, there's a lot of people that are looking for a few of the Sox players, but they're looking for all players because there's a lot of teams still in the race and there's a lot of moves to be made. We're going to start to see them coming up probably on his homestand.
Baseball, one of the biggest reasons to me, the most beautiful game going. It's the day-to-day game. It always has been, and it always will be. Good check.
That's why it takes some really tough guys to play this game, because it's an exercise in mental toughness as well as physical toughness. When you're out there every day playing through assorted injuries, and guys do that, you got to be a tough guy.
That's in the right field. Yepler went out. Well, there's no question about which is the toughest game of the big three, so to speak: football, basketball, and baseball. Which is the toughest mental game to play is baseball.
Yeah, 162 games is a very difficult thing to do when you consider all the time changes you go through. Night games, then you have day games. You have some off days, but not many. You average about 3 a month. And so you got to go out there, and a lot of guys just keep playing through little hurts.
Seems like that's getting less and less.
Well, yeah, the Cal Ripken streak is in pretty good shape. I don't think anybody's gonna come, maybe not within, well, they'll come within 1,000 games played, maybe.
Ivy, double and a run scored in the first, hard single in the sixth. He's 2 for 4.
I'll be taking off that shin guard, so hopefully he won't get a fastball then on his hands.
Oh, and 2. There's a shot going foul. Oh, nice catch.
That was a whale of a catch.
Wow.
He brought his glove. He leaned out over the rail and made the catch. Take a look at this. Nice job.
Oh, boy.
And that's why you bring your glove to the ballpark.
That's right. Two down. Here's Todd. He's 2 for 4. 2-run homer in the first. Single and a run scored in the third. Grounded to second in the fourth and was called out on a bad pitch in the sixth. A very bad pitch. He did not go. There's a good strike. Three and one.
There's a man in the on deck circle that's had quite an afternoon.
And that's ball four. So here comes Matt.
What's it going to take for him to hit a triple? As we'll take a look at the bomb he hit in the 5th inning. Rude greeting to Craig Breslow, who just came in the game. He hit it
right off his name.
into
Take that, Breslow.
Boy, that was a blast.
Yeah, it was.
A triple away from the cycle.
That fastball at 94. That one at 94.
Twins don't have a lot of depth pitching wise in their system, but this young man's got a pretty good arm. It's the second time we've seen him.
I was talking to one of the Minnesota people before the game, and he told me, he says, well, we've got pitching, they just hadn't signed him yet. And that's outside. Come on, Matt, have a good day, a real good day. Outfield about equidistant space, straight up. When you can run like Buxton, you don't have to be playing all over the place. Breaking ball, nice stop by Jimenez. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pretty obvious how they're trying to pitch him.
Yeah, they want to keep it up, and just as soon it be in.
Ball hit hard. Escobar's got him, and that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th, leading by 9. CSN Chicago, tail of the tape. And here's Buxton. Takes first pitch strike. Buxton has grounded to short, a play that Anderson really made a good play on, and also fouled out to Avi. We talk about body language in baseball being probably more noticeable than in any other sport. Tim Anderson today looks like a different player.
He does that. He looks really alive, alert,
Yep,
and he's
that's
had
right.
a wonderful game as Willie Garcia checks in the game. He's going to be playing left field.
The 1-2. There you go. 1 out. Back to the top of the order. This is Brian Dozier. Twice he's gone out to right, once on a line drive, and he also has struck out. Once again, make your plans to be with us starting tomorrow. 3-game series with Oakland. Ten-game homestand. Yankees come in after the A's for 4 and finish it off with 3 against the Rangers. And here's a look at that schedule. See tomorrow's game right here on CSN Chicago.
And Saturday, honoring Mark Burley and retiring number 56.
That's the first time in Major League history that that number has been retired. Ball hit high and deep. Avi, how about that?
We had a long way to go, and he hauled it in.
I didn't think he could get there. He got there, though. So 2 down.
He was playing fairly shallow, and fortunately this ball hung up for him. Caught it a couple of steps on the warning track. Made the play. So Vargas coming on to pinch hit.
Bauer. First pitch strike. Fouls that back.
Vargas, another of the switch hitters on this team, and he's a much better and much more powerful hitter from the side he is currently hitting from, the left side. A .290 left-hand hitter as opposed to .135 right-handed.
6'5", 275 pounds.
He keeps on doing that a lot. They're not going to be able to shift quite as much. So Vargas takes a fastball through the left side, and he said he knows that this team has to have him swinging the bat well as a right-hand hitter. He hit one 483 feet opening night of this series from the right side, and that's going to be it for Jake Petrichka as Ricky Renteria comes trotting to the mound.
This is a good move. Jake throwing the ball well. Had a good outing coming off the injury. You don't want to work him too much. Let him leave on a positive note. So he'll depart, and we'll be back.
Chris Beck. He comes on for the 24th time. He's 1-0. His ERA just below 3.5. It's been, all things considered, a very good year for him with 21 strikeouts and 26 innings. And he inherits Vargas at first base. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. He is the third Sox pitcher, with Jose Quintana going 6 2/3 and Jake Petrichka 1 inning of work.
Well, you know one thing, Sanoa's glad to see Quintana out of there.
He's ecstatic. I
don't think he fouled a pitch today.
No, he didn't have. Well, he didn't have any good swings. He just couldn't see him.
I don't think he got the bat on the ball at all. High pop up. Now Brayu calling for it, makes the catch. So 1 pitch, 1 out with Chris, and we'll go to the 9th.
Kick off a weekend series against the A's. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. or stream the game on the NBC Sports app or at csnchicago.com. And how many times do you see it? A man catches the whole game and then goes out to pitch the 9th inning. And that's what Chris Jimenez is doing. This is the 6th time this year that he's gone to the mound. He's got an ERA of an even 9, and he's a knuckleballer.
Yolmer 0 for 3 with a nice sacrifice, helped lead us to 2 runs. As that ball hit into left center field, it's going to be caught. So 1 out.
One thing to see a position player pitch. It's another thing to see a catcher come out from behind the plate and go to the mound, especially a catcher with a knuckleball. Did you ever mess around with a knuckleball?
Oh, sure. I don't know a baseball player that didn't.
No, the best knuckleballs were by position players who just were messing around throwing it.
One of the best. I hit against the best knuckleballer ever, and that was White Wilhelm.
Yeah.
The second best knuckleball I ever saw was Mickey Mantle. Mickey won a lot of money with that pitch because he would bet guys that they couldn't catch 10 in a row. And they used to do it in the outfield, especially in Yankee Stadium. He'd be out there, and you could see him throwing to guys. You bet them $100. You know, if they caught 10 in a row, they won $100. If he didn't, they lost 100. It's there.
Well, he tried to sneak a fastball by him. He threw strike 1 and 2 with the knuckleball, and then decides to sneak a fastball by him. Maybe it's a catcher-catcher thing, but that's the 3rd hit of the day for Kevin Smith. There it is. Tries to surprise him. No surprise.
So here's Adam Engel. He has had a fine day. 3 for 4, 2 RBIs. And now that's fair. Boy, that ball was just absolutely ripped. So that'll be a double. And David Novak's picked a click.
4 hits, 2 driven in. The first 2 runs batted in the career of Adam Engel. And he got a knuckleball that didn't do a great deal. He took it right down the line past Escobar. Fair by a wide margin. What a day for Adam Engel.
A long peg. Anderson's had a good day at the plate. Got a couple of hits, and he has just absolutely swung the bat very well today, which is great to see.
So with Jimenez going to the mound, Castro takes over behind the plate, and Vargas, who came out a pinch hit, plays first base, and Willie getting his first at bat.
Cabrera was 1 for 5. Two and 0 the count. Two out, 2 on, and there's a high pop up right side. Now Kepler's going to make the call, has the ball, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th, leading by 9.
Time brought to you by Miller Lite, and here's our Miller moments, and they came early in this one. A couple of bombs, one off the bat of Abreu, that's his 13th, and Todd Frazier makes it a 5-run first inning with a drive into the bullpen. So it happened early, our Miller moments. And Alan Hansen checks in the game to play right field.
Nothing good, guys. Trying to come home on this tough 6-game road trip at 3-3. Grossman takes first pitch strike. Robbie is 1 for 3.
Seven hits for the Twins, all singles. Nary an extra base hit.
Off the end of the bat. You didn't hear anything further on Tyler Saladino's back problem, did you?
No, I did not.
I asked and nobody had heard anything. Escobar, he's 1 for 3. Two and 0. Come on, Chris, you don't have to be fine, buddy. Let them see how far they can hit it. 9-0. There's one.
Nine runs on 18 hits today. And it's been an errorless game on both sides.
There's two. Well, the game last night, that's the worst game we played in a long time.
Yeah, it was that. Just about every facet of the game.
Yeah. And
just, you know, you have them. There's nothing you can do except come back and get them today. They didn't expect the 4-hour and 50-minute rain delay, but they made the most of it.
Count hangs full. And another souvenir. Well, when we got to the ballpark, the first pitch was supposed to be thrown. 27,684.
Yeah, nice crowd. A few have left.
That ball hit well into center field, but we got a man there. He can go get him. Good comeback by Chris from 3-0. And here's Kepler.
We've been looking for this guy for quite some time. 27th out in a winning ball game.
And for 7 days.
And 3-3 on the road trip. Not bad.
Well, again, because of the the two places that we historically have had trouble with, Toronto and Minnesota. Count evens at 1. There's a chopper, and this ball game is over. So indeed, Stoney, 3-3 coming back, and all of a sudden now we're going to go home for the longest homestand of the season thus far.
And I think everybody's going to be very happy to get there. It was a successful road trip. A lot of offense today. Everything went right, and maybe more of the same on the homestand. So I will see you on the plane.
You got it, buddy. All right, so for my partner, Steve Stone, our director, Hall of Fame director, Jim Angio, our producer, Keon Dolashahi, our associate producer, Joe Grube, our very fine technical manager, Mark Harper, also for Brad Zimet, Chris Trudeau, Jim Vitros, and our stage manager,